Okay, so we have started recording. I thank you all very much for being here. And given that we've just started recording, let me tell you what my mission is tonight. I've been asked by people to keep this content that I get so very excited about in a 30-minute window. And I've been asked to talk in slow, measured tones because I realize there are many people who want to hear this information globally for whom English is not a first language. And so I'm going to try to address only those things which must be addressed. I'm going to try to deliver the message in slow, measured tones and still get the importance of it across. My name is Randy Schrader, and I consider it to be among the most fortunate experiences, certainly of my business career, if not my life, to be able to introduce to you a company called LEV AI. That stands for Leverage Artificial Intelligence. Before we go further, I'd like to reflect on an experience that I had many years ago, I believe in about 1982 or 1983. I had a friend named Andy Kay, and Andy Kay was a developer of one of the early computers. The name of his company was Kpro. Launched at about the same time as Apple Computer, and launched at about the same time that uh, household computing became not such a unique thing. And I remember that very first interaction and Andy trying to portray his vision to me that the world would become computerized. And I couldn't see it. I didn't have that vision. And the result is that I wound up using the technology, but I didn't become a cause of other people's use. I did not become a conduit to that which I now know was destined. What was destined? For computerization to sweep the world. Now I know, looking back, that I did not have, nor did you have, a choice of whether to adopt computerization or not. We were compelled by societal norms to adopt computerization or be left behind. A couple of years later, I had the second chance, the second bite of the apple, when at the very first time I heard about the internet. I remember my first 128 kps dial-up modem and hearing the sounds of a fax machine in the back, and then waiting for what seemed like an interminable amount of time for the website to open. I could not have begun to see at that point the future. And the future was that the entire world would become connected on the World Wide Web. And that, in fact, I again had no choice to adopt, nor did you. We could not survive in today's society if we completely abandoned the online world. I became a user of the technology and benefited from its use, but I did not become a catalyst in causing that which was destined to occur, that destiny being the globalization of the internet. I did not become a catalyst in causing that which was destined to occur a little more quickly. Today, as you will see and may already know, artificial intelligence is the third such instance in my lifetime. I don't know how old you are, and so I don't know if it's your first, your second, or your third. Unless you're a very, very old person, you weren't there for the first similar change, that being the Industrial Revolution. That's how profound this is. When I welcome you to Lev AI, I am welcoming you to a legitimate chance to be a precursor to other people's use of a technology that will become a global mandate. And there is literally no end to the possibility of what can occur. Now, over the course of my life, I have been turning my phone on here so that I don't take too much time. Over the course of my career, an aggressive entrepreneurial career, I've come to realize that in order to create the kind of outcome that I want, and the kind of outcome that I'm confident some of you want, that being a complete, total, absolute financial breakthrough. In order to accomplish that, we cannot build upon a foundation created by someone else. We cannot. The true rewards, the rewards that I seek and I think some of you seek, are reserved for those who create the foundation upon which others build in the future. Early in my entrepreneurial career, I was counseled to catch a wave. Poor counsel. We should not catch a wave. We should create a wave that other people catch in the future. Well, that realization has driven me to get closer and closer and closer to the point of origin, to the genesis, to the launching pad of any entity. And we, of course, know that there are risks. Some startup ventures don't get off the ground floor. Some never get big enough, fast enough to make any impact. So, the great entrepreneurial dance is, how do we identify that which is destined to occur? And then, if we are so fortunate to identify that, then how close to the point of origin dare we come? And what can we do to mitigate the risks? Well, in this case, you get a chance to be at the absolute genesis. In fact, you're there before day one. This company will introduce its technology globally in sometime in the next 7 to 10 days. That's when it's coming. You're here in front of that. The next 3 to 5 years will be unbelievable, but we don't have the risks that are typically associated with that positioning. Why? Because we operate under the auspices, under the goodwill, and in the family of companies of Terry LaCour, one of the finest operators in America, truly one of the finest operators in the world. Whether you be in home-based business, if you're utilizing merchant processing, the depth and breadth, the reach of Terry's companies goes far and wide on a global scale. Utilizing the strength of that organization, we have the chance to be at the absolute genesis and yet not suffer the risks typically a part and a parcel of that. And I am so thrilled to know that Terry's style, Mr. LaCour's style, is not to manage the businesses that he oversees. It is to manage the overall enterprise, but not each individual company within the enterprise. How fortunate am I and how blessed do I feel that Terry chose to hire my son, Blake Schrader, to be the president of LEV AI. Not because he's my son, that I could not make the hire. Terry made the hire. Why did he make it? Because Blake was raised in my home, and therefore he has seen the sacrifices made by entrepreneurs and values them. Why else? Because Blake is an attorney and has learned how to successfully navigate the global business scene. Why else? Because Blake is multilingual. Why else? Because Blake has been the general manager of a network marketing company in Israel, throughout Europe, all over Latin America. Why else? Because Blake was the CEO of a company called Medical Marijuana Incorporated at the very time when the end of the prohibition of cannabis was one of the most talked about things, one of the most controversial things in the world. Successfully navigating that environment was an important task, which he did well. His non-compete just expired, making him eligible to guide another company to prominence, and I believe to greatness. And I believe this can be his last home, and I assure you it's mine. Welcome to Lev AI. And now, when I begin talking about AI and you see me smiling, it's exciting. It's fun. It's invigorating. It's given me a different spring in my step than I can recall having for some time, because I discovered that not just everyday people, it's not just people down at the park that are talking about AI, and it's not just people that are in first class cabins of airplanes. It's people who are in corporate jets, and it's people who are in the boardrooms of the most influential companies in the world. Here's Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, certainly among the most brilliant men in the tech world, one of the most influential men in business, stated recently that AI, artificial intelligence, is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. What does that say to you? Look back over your shoulder. Whatever your greatest success has been up until now was based upon, predicated upon, and made possible by technologies, events, and circumstances that were certainly not more profound than fire or electricity. What that says is that now you're given an opportunity, as am I, as are we, to have our greatest success. Why? Because AI is more profound than what made possible our previous greatest success. And here we see the deepest mind of DeepMind, Demis Hassabis, who states the difference here with AI is it's going to be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution and maybe 10 times faster. Wow. Bigger than the Industrial Revolution? 10 times faster. That then demands that we pay attention, that we look, listen, and learn, but that we do it quickly and have a certain degree of urgency. Because literally, like sands through the hourglass, there go not just the days of our lives, but there go the grains of sand of opportunity in what may be the single greatest transition in the way people live and conduct business in the balance of our lives. That is how profound this moment is. Don't let it slip by. Don't take it for granted. Don't be one of those who just uses the technology. Join me, join us in Live AI in becoming a conduit to other people's use, in becoming a catalyst to that which is destined to occur. And the results can, I believe, will be stunning. Artificial intelligence should not be feared. It should be harnessed, and it should be leveraged to your benefit. And this is an interesting slide. It says 61% of professional marketers use AI already. But what are they using? They're using a mixed bag. This application for this purpose, and it doesn't communicate very well with this application. Each one has a separate subscription, a separate monthly fee. None of them can communicate very well with the third app, the fourth app, and the fifth. And of course, 61%, that sounds like a large number. But what percentage of the world would describe themselves as professional marketers? A very small percent. And so, yes, that is a meaningful percentage of a very small segment of society. But what percentage do you suppose of professional marketers use computers? It's 100%. What percentage of professional marketers are online? 100%. That is the percentage of professional marketers who will be utilizing artificial intelligence in the very near future over the course of the next 1, 3, 5 years max. When it says 30, and by the way, only 7% of just the everyday person on the street, the one chatting about it, only 7%. That's going to move to plus 90% in the next 7 years, the next decade. The question, once again, is simply this: will you, will I, will we simply utilize the technology as I used and use a computer, as I used and use the internet? Will I simply use for my various enterprises and personal purposes? Or will I recognize that this is one of those inflection points in the development of a global society where opportunity is almost immeasurable based on anything we've experienced up until now? It says there's a 38% increase in sales productivity. Why? You might be thinking, why is it so good? No, I'm thinking, how can it be so small? That is only because the people using that AI have not learned how to leverage it. That should be and will be 380% or even 3,800%. So incredibly important is the technology. And 80% of entrepreneurs say it gives them a competitive edge. If they're using it, well, not many are, and it's going to go to 100%. LEV AI, learning how to leverage artificial intelligence and doing it inside the confines of this particular company and opportunity and tool suite. That wasn't talking slow, was it? Makes it simple for entrepreneurs. That's what I am. I'm guessing that's what you are, or you wouldn't have been invited here. Makes it simple for entrepreneurs to launch, market, and grow businesses, all with no expensive CMO, agency, or complicated tech skills. I've described the fact that today 61% of professional marketers use AI, but only 7% of normal people in the United States, and a smaller percentage in most of the world. Why? Because it's confusing, because it's a mixed bag, because one has so many obstacles to overcome. One application for customer relationship management, one application to grow and develop social media presence, one application for. It leads to incredible tech intimidation and burnout. Certainly, I've experienced that. Poor lead generation, basically no lead generation, with no clear guide, no proved and predictable pattern of activities. These problems are solved. That host of problems are solved all inside one solution, and it's called LEV AI. I look with fascination at the fact that there are 388 million small businesses in the world. They have their uniquenesses, but they have far more similarities. What are some common areas? Every business, every small business would like to have more customers, isn't that right? And so, therefore, making and building and maintaining a candidate list of an ongoing stream of people towards us, that would be an extraordinarily important thing. Every entrepreneur, every small business owner would like to have a greater retention of each customer, client, user, or team member. They would all like that. I promise you, this will make that not just easier, but possible for a lot of people for whom up until now it has not seemed possible. Every small business owner would like to have greater revenue from each customer. Don't just watch what happens, participate in what happens. Become one of those who shortly proves to the world that LEV AI will make building and maintaining a candidate list far easier. This will create confidence about what to say to each candidate, customer throughout the engagement process. And this next idea, removing barriers that make you feel stuck. Many years ago, I was taught by a gifted coach, a teacher. He was a friend. His name is Nathan Ricks. Rest in peace, Nathan. He passed away a couple of years ago. As a young man, by the way. But Nathan taught me, these are his words, not mine. He said, Randy, there's a proved and predictable pattern of activities for us to accomplish our goals. He said, there's no luck and there's no guesswork. If we do A, we'll get B. And if we do, we'll get C. And if we don't, we don't. The great problem is not that people do that which is required to succeed, but do it poorly and fail. The problem is that people don't do that which is required to succeed. And why? Most frequently, it is because they have fear. Down here, it talks about the fear of failure. How shall we eliminate the fear of failure? By helping people not fail anymore. That one's pretty simple. But I think there's another fear that stands between people who want success, who need it, who dream about it, but who don't take the daily activities. We'll come around to that reason in a moment. The LEV AI solution to the myriad problems It is to bring everything together under one roof. When it says get unstuck and stay consistent, I recognize now that among the failures to act in my life, well, I was there when the very first social media platforms came out, and I have used them, picked and not all of them, but I've used many social media platforms. But what I've never done is made a conscious effort to have a big presence there. That was a mistake. I've lived a fairly big life. I've had a lot of success. I've been somewhat visible in many parts of the world. And yet I've got this pathetic, tiny little social media presence. Had I made a decision some years ago to have a big social media presence, my worth in the marketplace would be far greater than it is right now. I intend to make my worth in the marketplace far greater in the future than it is right now. How? By utilizing AI, specifically utilizing the LEV AI solution to dramatically expand my social media presence and help you do the same. You'll understand how that will happen now. We believe that the net cost of your use of this project, of this process, this service, this technology will be less than zero, less than free for many people. I think maybe for most. Say, how, Randy, how can that be? What do you mean it's a less than zero? If you're currently using a CRM, customer relationship management software, I think that there's a 95% chance you can eliminate that software because we have a fully baked, robust CRM inclusive in our process. If you're using a Go High Level or something similar, you're probably spending $300 or $400 per month on just your CRM software. Here, it is a part of the package, just one of the services offered, more robust than probably what you're using now, and costs a fraction. Our entire solution costs less than just your CRM in all likelihood. And when you import a contact into the LEV AI CRM, immediately, immediately, artificial intelligence will begin scanning the social media presence of every imported contact, simply a screenshot import, and then you get the news very shortly thereafter. This is Tom's hot button. This is Sally's hot button. These are the words that would most likely get the attention of this candidate. Here's the text. Simply push send. Utilizing customer relationship management to go beyond that. Customer relationship development through social media profiling made as part and parcel of the LEV AI solution. Instantly build websites. Another reason that I described the net cost being zero or less than zero. How can it be? Because you don't need to call a tech firm to build your website. You can do it yourself. I did it. I met with a developer about 5 weeks ago, and he asked me if I'd like to build a website. Yeah, love to build a website. I don't have the technical ability, the knowledge. And he said, Randy, as he spun his terminal around and pointed to the app, click here. And about 7 clicks later, certainly less than 10 minutes later, I had a fully published website live on the World Wide Web. The very sun, I'm not talking about a simple self-generating site such as one might get if they're a direct selling distributor somewhere. No, I'm talking about a content rich, unique, technology laden website, which you can attach a shopping cart to or anything else. And once again, no incremental cost that is included in the overall service. And I said a moment ago that the challenge seems to me not to be that people do that which is required to succeed, but don't do it well and therefore fail. Now, I believe what happens far more frequently is people frozen behind a wall of fear don't take the actions that would predictably lead to success. Now, we will address that in two ways here. One is to provide constant nudges. So you will have your own personalized GPT, not a not chat GPT. 700 million people logged on to chat GPT this week to receive information. And the information they received was by definition generic. It was not specific to that person's business. It was not specific to that person's product offering or compensation plan or management group. Your personalized chat GPT, which is loaded with the content provided by your coach, your teacher, by me, or by whom you select, by your leader, or by you, if you have emerged at that station, will guide you step by step through the process, causing you to no longer be stuck. And what causes that fear? If I'm an employee, and the vast majority of people who are entrepreneurs were first employees, If I am an employee, I am reacting to the requests or demands of an employer. To a degree, that's easier. Be at work by 8, Randy. I react to that and I'm there at 8. You can have lunch at noon, Randy. I react to that and I have lunch at noon. You get 2 weeks vacation, Randy, in August, and I react to that. Now suddenly I am an entrepreneur and I don't get to react. I have to be proactive. Having these constant nudges will ease, it will ease, not make easy, but it will ease and make easier the transition from employee reactivity to entrepreneur proactivity. And when we add to that this extraordinary further thought, a monthly lead program, over the course of my career, I've been cautious about lead generation because I've worried about the idea of someone spending money on leads and not getting the outcome they want, that being a new customer, a new member, whatever they're seeking. But what if there was no added cost? What it was simply part of your subscription? There was no added cost. Then you see, here I've got my person transitioning from reactivity to proactivity. Now I've got a list of people, 25 or 100 each month. And these are people who said, I want to know more. You have information that I would like to understand. Can you describe to me what this is? Is it not evident and obvious that for so many people for whom provoking the conversation might be challenging, responding to one asking for information would, of course, be much easier? And so, in fact, as we transition from reactivity to proactivity, we have a middle ground where you get to react to the request of someone and then become proactive behind it. That will lead to proactivity among those not included in the monthly lead program. The combination of things I've just described to you, I believe, would lead many people to significant success. There need not be more, but there is. Every plan includes your own AI twin. And when I say a twin, I mean a twin, a digital cloning of you. So precise and so accurate that clone is that if you were to see each of them on screen, you would not be able to ascertain which is you and which is the digital clone. You are the subject of that cloning, of course. And when you talk and the clone talks, you would still not be able to ascertain when you have your mannerisms, the way that you speak, the way that you move your hands as you speak. So does your digital twin. The only way you'll really know the difference is if you don't speak Chinese and suddenly your digital twin starts speaking in Mandarin or Cantonese, Taiwanese, suddenly you'll say, oh, well, that's the twin. And you can give it any script, or you can use your personalized GPT to create the script, and your digital twin can speak fluently in 150 languages. Now, in just the next day or two, sometime in the next coming handful of days before Friday of this coming week, we will know the final pricing and we will know the final package offerings. I will tell you there's a little bit of wiggle room here still. We will be going to 3 packs, not 2, of that I'm quite certain. And I will tell you that the 3 product packages pricing approximates will be $50 for the basic, $100 for an intermediate, which we don't see listed here, and $150 for the Pro Pack. For those of you who have been around the direct selling industry for a period of time, you know and understand that a rapid flow of new member applications is the single most important thing required to assure a proper launch and a proper sustained business. Those price points assure that that will be the reality here. You cannot buy what this company sells for less money someplace else. You cannot acquire the various services independently and combine them for any place close to what this company offers. Unique to the direct selling industry, we offer a product that has been priced to meet the need of the ultimate consumer. We have not done a product package and priced it to meet the needs of a comp plan. Not necessary here. Your AI video twin, your likeness, your voice, speaking your script flawlessly in 150 plus languages, and you can even use AI to generate your script. Your personalized AI writing assistant to provoke the engaging posts, which is doing what? Expanding your social media presence, as I've described. Your ability to have multiple profiles in case you have multiple business messages to deliver. AI powered social growth and engagement, creating an ongoing dialogue with you and other users of various social media, all being done in the background without your need to personally participate. And what it's doing is expanding your social media presence and therefore expanding your influence and therefore expanding the likelihood of future financial breakthrough. A CRM with screenshot import and profile enrichment, as we've described, instant web builder, an enhanced CRM with correctly constructed lead funnels to guide the candidate, whether it be a candidate that came from the searchable leads or from your contact list, to guide that candidate steadily and consistently, step by step, to the correct decision for him or her. And I want to highlight that. Not trying to convince anybody of anything. We're not trying to sell anyone anything. We're trying to ascertain, what do we offer that could be of greatest value for that individual, and guide them through a proved and predictable pattern of activities to allow each one to arrive at his or her most correct decision, whatever it is. Enhanced CRM with professional lead funnels linked to your site, searchable prospects. And now, folks, stop for just a second, bang the gong, and ring the bell, and shout it from the rooftops. Just about an hour and a half ago, I was on a telephone with a person who has advanced knowledge of AI. And I told him that we would shortly be introducing a program. And when I say shortly, I'm talking about days. We'd be introducing a program where top producers would have an actual conversant, interactive AI avatar digital clone. And what he said was, Randy, prepare yourself and prepare your company for a flood of applications such as no one has experienced before. And I completely subscribe to that idea. As soon as you live at or near the top of the plan, you will have the extraordinary opportunity to have a fully interactive avatar. What does that mean? It means that literally it can converse with the person on the other side of that conversation, and that conversation will be predicated upon, in my own case, that 35 years of knowledge and experience in business and life that is compressed into me. Train your avatar through a library of your leadership or whatever thought leader you are most impressed with. The best of you available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all over the world in 150 languages. This does represent unmatched value. I believe that all that I've described will be available to most people for less than zero, because of an ability to eliminate no longer needed subscriptions as they try to bring together all these various components that we have in one house. What exactly is the market opportunity? It's a little bit hard to quantify. What percentage of people in the world use computers? Almost everybody. What percentage of people use AI? 3 or 4 or 5%. That 3 or 4 or 5 is going to become the same percent as who use computers. So how big is the opportunity if you cause even a little bit of that transformation to occur? What percentage of people in the world use the internet? All of them are going to use AI. I don't think you can even put on a slide a number that accurately represents what the upside is. It's almost limitless. We're talking about a complete transformation of societal norms, as when the Industrial Revolution took place, as when the computer revolution took place, as when the internet revolution took place, and as the AI revolution is beginning as we speak. We're all going to use AI. That's not a question. The question is simply this: will we be a conduit to other people's use such that we can earn royalties? If the answer to that for you is yes, I promise it is for me, then each time you introduce someone to our company and they acquire the product, you'll get paid 50% of whatever their product purchase was. And it's important to note that there is no artificial dilution here. In so many businesses, there's an amount of cash. Cash comes into the company, but they dilute it and they say, okay, $1,000 came into the company, but we're going to pay commissions on 700 for some reason. I've never quite understood that logic, but we don't do that. Cash in, cash goes to the compensation plan. There are a variety of people who will benefit from the participation in the business as opposed to just using it for your lifestyle purposes. I have a friend who is very prominent, extremely well known. She's appeared on the cover of just about every social magazine you can think of. She and her partner won Dancing with the Stars competition. At a time earlier in her life, when she was a young girl and early teenager, she was actually a nanny for my children. So I know her really well. And what I know about her is that she has no interest whatsoever in building teams. She doesn't want to be someone's teacher, or coach, or mentor. She's looking for her next big movie role. She's looking for her next starring position. But what she has learned is that a result of her notoriety, a lot of people will act upon her imprimatur. And so she's an influencer. Well, for people like that, not wanting to build in depth, having that 20%, not of BV, CV, PV, 20% of cash is extraordinarily lucrative. And so anyone that you personally enroll, if they are of an influencer type, maintain them on generation one and receive a 20% commission. For those who have learned how to build organizations, teams in depth, describe the fact that this is a simple 8 generation unilevel compensation plan, 20% payable on Gen 1, and then 4% through 2 through 8. But remember, that's 4% of cash, it's 20% of cash. There is, of course, dynamic compression. Any inactive account gets compressed away. It does compress all the way into generation one and receives that 20% payout. And of critical importance, whenever an idea is hot, and this idea is hot, when an idea is hot, volume will flow very, very quickly, and it'll run very quickly through the bottom of any generational compensation plan. The infinity bonus guarantees that even though the flood of applications means that there are way more people who need to be taught than there are yet people eligible to teach them, because that's true in a rapidly growing enterprise, there must be a compensation plan component that incents the true leader, evidenced by the fact that he or she lives at the top of the plan, to work with everybody, no matter where they fall in the structure, clear until they interact with the next person who, like he or she, lives at the top of the plan. What that essentially does is extend that block of payout indefinitely until you have replicated yourself. And then the leveraged matching bonus, paid through 4 generations of your enrollment tree. This is the most important part of the compensation plan for me. They're all important, but this is the one where we get paid because other people are earning money, not because they're working or trying or spending. We're getting paid because others are earning. I think that's a beautiful principle. And I would remind you that this is a cash-based comp plan. And I would further give you this bit of remarkable news. This is the only leveraged bonus I have ever seen, the only check match I've ever seen that is predicated upon all comp plan components. So someone in your first 4 generations earns an acquisition bonus, well, you get a matching bonus. Someone earns a team commission and you get a matching bonus. Someone earns an infinity payout and you get a matching bonus. This will this will create incomes for true leadership that are not in the same league as what top incomes have been in this field up until now. Randy, how can you say that? Because we are now finally not simply talking to a small segment of society who have embraced any particular concept. We're now talking about the entire society, which will be and is being compelled as we speak to begin to adopt AI. This compensation plan has been designed to provoke and reward behaviors that build a large, successful, sustainable business for you and therefore for the company. And so I pose the question to me and let you listen. Am I ready to lead the AI future with LEV AI? Not making the mistake that I made when I simply used the computer, but becoming a catalyst to other people's use. Am I going to do what I did with the internet? Just use it? No, I am not. I am going to leverage artificial intelligence to its fullest capacity. And part of that means that I will become a conduit to other people's use. Now, what I do, of course, doesn't matter to you. My question is, are you ready to allow us as a leadership group? Are you ready to allow us to teach you how to lead others to the AI future with LEV AI? If so, then contact the person who invited you here. Tell them you'd like to receive the application. It's a free look, folks, doesn't cost you a thing. Receive the online registration form, get registered, and then become involved in the community. It's only going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, not long. This thing goes live. Compress as much knowledge and experience as you can into those 10 days. And the following year can be one of the most profitable years of your life, maybe the most profitable. Also, please ask that you receive a link to our communications network, to our WhatsApp group, so that you know what's going on and when. Folks, I really appreciate you sharing a little bit of your time with me on a Sunday evening. I know you've got other places that you could be, and I value, I respect your time. I'm going to call upon my friend Larry Lane. He is a gifted, skilled entrepreneur. He understands all kinds of business ventures and has made a commitment here that is big and is accomplishing things that are quite remarkable. Larry, chime in, tell folks what's going on.
Hey, Randy, absolutely. I know we got like 100 people on here on a Sunday night, so glad to be here. Yeah, I saw this literally about 12, 13 days ago absolutely blew my mind. I've always heard about AI. I wanted to learn more about it. So I think with Leverage AI, it is the perfect fit for people that want to learn about AI. They also want to make money on AI. But Monday of this week, I had 1,500 people on my team, and I made a goal. By Sunday, I wanted to have 5,000 people. I just checked. I've got 4,913 people in my team right now. I've got 87 more to go by midnight, but I counted while Randy was talking. I've got 28 personals frontline that are on this Zoom right now. That could be more because some of them say iPhone 16, iPhone 14, iPhone 12. So I can't tell those. But, Randy, I think this is the perfect time. You mentioned if someone wants to change their life, this is absolutely free. I know a lot of people are like, oh, we want to see the technology. They have not asked us for a single penny. I've said it before. I know Terry LaCour, and I know Terry has thrown his hat in the ring for a reason because this is going to be absolutely massive. It is free right now for somebody to take a free look. I strongly encourage you for the next 8, 9, 10 days, however many days we have left, to send your link out to as many people as possible. Take a free look. This is AI. They're going to educate us. They're going to teach us how to use it. They're also going to teach us how to build our business. I really believe that this technology, these packages are like marketing. This will work for brick and mortar businesses. This will work for crypto companies. This will work for product companies. This will work for travel companies. This is going to increase your global sales. When you have a Randy twin that speaks 150 languages fluently, Randy is going to be going into markets, I promise you, that he's never gone into before. Not with just a Spanish speaking video, actually as Randy speaking in Spanish, whatever he wants to say, speaking in German, speaking in Japanese. This is state of the art technology. This is going to change the planet. There's a couple of thousand people that know about this right now, but there will be millions of people in LEV AI in the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You knew about it at the very beginning. When I see something and I take it to my leaders and they're excited, I run. I was in another company with Randy a couple of years ago. We both hit president within 2 days of each other. We were the fastest two ever to president. Randy's a runner. I love running with runners, and my teams know that I'm going to run. So, Randy, I'm just honored to be here with you, buddy. This is the time. Everybody watching this Zoom right now, you're here for a reason. You're here on a Sunday night with me and Randy, but I'm telling you, this is a chance to get in front of something that can absolutely change your life. Don't sit there and see it in 2 days or 2 weeks and say, wow, this is amazing. I wish I'd have moved. I wish I'd invited 40 people. You can do that right now. It's free. It's not going to cost them anything to hold that position. So, Randy, back to you, buddy.
You're the best, Larry. Thank you. It's a joy to work with you. Folks, if I could snap my fingers and get out of my head what's there to yours, if I could snap one more time, get out of my heart what's there to yours, you'd know these are precious days. Larry and I, and the rest of the leadership group, we want to help you become your best, and we want to help you make that best better the next day. This is the magic moment. Join us. God bless everybody. See you later. Thank you, Larry. Bye bye.
Thank you, Randy.